The thick fog had descended upon the small town without warning. It rolled in like a thick blanket, obscuring everything in its path. It was so dense that you could barely see a few feet in front of you. People huddled in their homes, unsure of what was happening outside. As the night wore on, strange sounds began to emanate from within the fog. They were indistinct at first, but they grew louder and more distinct as the hours passed. The townsfolk whispered in hushed tones about the strange noises and the eerie atmosphere that had descended upon their once peaceful town. One brave soul, a local sheriff named John, decided to investigate. Armed with his trusty flashlight and a sense of curiosity, he ventured into the fog. He walked for what felt like hours, but it was only minutes before he found something that chilled him to the bone. Amidst the fog, he saw a shadowy figure moving towards him. As it came closer, he realized that it was not human. It was something altogether different. Its eyes glowed red in the darkness, and it moved with an unnatural speed. John tried to run, but the creature was upon him before he could even turn around. The next day, the townsfolk woke up to find that John was missing. A search party was organized, and they set out to look for him. As they combed the foggy streets and alleyways, they found more and more evidence of the creature's presence. Strange footprints that didn't belong to any known animal, scratch marks on buildings that were too high up to be made by a person, and an overwhelming sense of unease that permeated the air. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, but John was never found. The townsfolk stopped venturing into the fog altogether, afraid of what might be lurking within it. Some claimed that they could still hear strange sounds emanating from within, while others said that they could feel an icy breath on the back of their necks. Years went by, and the town was forgotten by the outside world. It became a ghost town, left to rot and decay in the fog. The creatures that had caused its downfall were never seen again, but their presence lingered on, a constant reminder of the horrors that had taken place within the fog. And so, the town remained shrouded in mystery, a place that people talked about in hushed tones, afraid of what might happen if they ever dared to venture into the fog. As soon as the woman saw the mirror, she knew that there was something off about it. It was an old antique mirror that she had inherited from her grandmother's estate, and it was the only thing that she had wanted from the entire collection of items. However, as soon as she brought it home, things started to change. The woman started to feel like she was being watched, and she began to see strange reflections in the mirror that weren't there before. Sometimes she would see shadows moving behind her, and other times she would catch glimpses of figures that weren't actually there. At first, the woman tried to ignore these strange occurrences, but they started to happen more and more frequently. She began to feel like the mirror was possessing her, and she couldn't escape its hold. One night, the woman woke up to find herself standing in front of the mirror, staring at her reflection. She didn't remember how she had gotten there, but she couldn't move away from the mirror. As she stared at herself, she saw her reflection start to change. Her eyes turned black, and her face twisted into a grotesque expression. Suddenly, the woman was pulled into the mirror, and she found herself in a dark, twisted world that was ruled by the mirror's malevolent presence. The woman realized that the mirror was a portal to another dimension, and she was trapped there forever. The mirror's hold over the woman was so strong that she couldn't escape its grasp. She was doomed to spend the rest of her life in this dark, twisted world, under the mirror's watchful eye. Years later, a new family moved into the woman's old house, and they found the mirror in the attic. They were drawn to its beauty and brought it down to hang in their living room. Little did they know that the mirror was still cursed, and it would soon start to affect their lives as well. As they looked into the mirror, they saw strange reflections that weren't there before. They started to feel like they were being watched, and they began to see shadows moving behind them. The mirror had found new victims, and it would continue to possess anyone who dared to look into its dark depths.